Good morning children. Today we are going to have a quick recap of nutrition in plants. Already we had discussed this lesson. Today I am going to give you some question and answers related to this lesson. So we are going to have recap of this chapter. First, what is food? Children, what is food? The substances broken down by chemical process in the body of an organism to give energy is called food. That is called food. So from food what do we get? We get when this food is broken down in our body, we get energy. After that, what is nutrition? What is nutrition, children? The process by which food is taken in by an organism and used by its body is called nutrition. Is this clear? The food is taken by the organism and utilized by the organism is called nutrition. Now next is two types of nutrition are there. You remember, first is autotrophic nutrition, second is heterotrophic nutrition. What is autotrophic nutrition? The mode of nutrition in which an organism makes its own food is called autotrophic nutrition. Children, what four things are required for autotrophic nutrition? First is chlorophyll. All you remember, only green plants are able to make food because they have chlorophyll. Why chlorophyll is important? Because this is the only pigment that traps the sunlight. Second is presence of sunlight. Second thing is required, presence of sunlight. Chlorophyll traps sunlight. Chlorophyll traps sunlight, and this sunlight gives energy for the formation of food or the combination of combining the carbon dioxide and water. From where chlorophyll get the energy? From sunlight. Third is carbon dioxide. This is taken up by the plant through the tiny spores present at the lower side of the leaves, and these we call them stomata, and plants take carbon dioxide, or we say air. From air, carbon dioxide is utilized by the plant to make food. Next is water. How water plants take? By roots. So plants take water by roots. There are tiny hair in the roots of plant, and these tiny hair, they absorb water and minerals, and this water and mineral move from root to stem, from stem to leaves. Okay, and the leaf is the main place where this process takes place. What do we call this process? Photosynthesis. So for photosynthesis, what four things are important? Chlorophyll, presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and H2O. The plants, those who are having green pigments, they are able to photosynthesize, and this type of nutrition is called autotrophic mode of nutrition. Children, two activities are given in this. First is how to do the starch test. Children, how we are going to do the starch test? I am going to tell you. We will take the leaf and we will boil in water. First we will boil in water. Okay. This leaf. Then we will boil it in alcohol. Why we boil it in alcohol? To decolorize it. Means to remove the chlorophyll. Here, this is alcohol. Alcohol we boil in water bath. This is water. We call it water bath. Okay. This test tube we put in what? Boiling water. Okay. And the leaf is there. When it boils, heat in this alcohol, what happens? Chlorophyll comes out. Now this leaf we will take in petri dish. this decolorized leaf, and when we add 2-3 drops of iodine, what will happen? This leaf turn blue or black. Blue turns blue or black. Okay, why? Because of the presence of starch. Starch is there. That is why we call it starch test. Okay, so starch is there. When we add iodine, iodine turns the this starch which is there in the leaf turns blue black, and this is called starch test, children. This proves that leaves make food. What we are proving here? That leaves are the part of the plant where the food is made or photosynthesis. Okay, children, we will discuss what heterotrophic mode of nutrition. What is heterotrophic mode of nutrition? In which the plants depend on other plants for food, other plants or organisms for food. This mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. There are 4 types. First is parasitic mode. So parasitic plants are those plants that are partially or completely depend on other plants for nutrition. They are called parasitic plants. There are 2 types. First is dodder or cuscuta. Dodder is completely depend on other plant for food. It is thread-like. No leaves, no roots, nothing. Only it has very tiny root-like structure, and we call these structure haustoria. What do we call that? Haustoria. And these tiny root-like structure, they penetrate the host plant and suck the food. This way they grow. Second is Mistletoe. Mistletoe is having its own system, like it has leaves. Mistletoe has leathery green leaves, and it can make its own food, but still depend on host plant for minerals and water. So the root of this plant, they penetrate the host plant and take the water and mineral. They grow on other plants. Okay, so they take water and mineral from those plants and prepare their own food. That is why it is called partial parasite. It is called partial parasites. Okay, children. Now come plants first. A saprophytic plant is one that obtains its nutrients from dead and decaying plant and animal matter. Sapro means rotting. Python means plant. Okay, so they draw their nutrients from dead and decaying plants and animals. Okay, the example of this is coral root and Indian pipe. What are the examples? Coral root and Indian pipe. These are the example of Indian pipe. It is usually whitish, but some plants have brightly colored flowers. These plants often have no leaves. Okay, they don't have leaves. Why? Because they don't make their own food. They often grow in deep shade because they don't require sunlight. Okay, deep shade in tropical forests. Example are Indian pipes and coral roots. The roots of this saprophytic plant contain organism called fungi. In their root, what they have? Fungi. The fungi convert dead and decaying matter into nutrients. So what do they have in their roots? They have fungi in their roots. Okay, and what is the function of fungi? To convert the decaying matter into nutrients. Okay, that can be used by these plants as food. fungi are also saprotrophs. So is this clear? Coral root and Indian pipe. These are the examples. Now third is insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants are the ones that derive some of or most of the nutrient by trapping and consuming animals, mainly insects. Where do they grow? They grow in the areas where the deficiency of certain nutrients like nitrogen. The four examples are there. First is Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap. The Venus flytrap has leaves modified to trap insects. The inner surface, okay, their leaf is like this, and they are having cilia. Okay, they are having cilia. When any, it is very attractive when any, the inner surface of the leaves have short, stiff hair. These are hair. When an insect touches the hair, okay, suppose the insect is this touches the hair, the leaves snap shut. In less than a second, the insect is trapped and digested. Second is pitcher plant. Second is pitcher plant. This is also insectivorous plant. It is like pitcher. The shape is like pitcher. The leaves turn into the pitcher shape. Okay. And this is the lid. Any insect come and sit on the lid. What happens? It slips down. There are also hair, tiny hair in this. Okay. When insects sit in this pitcher, mouth of the pitcher, it slips down, and what happens? These hair, they do not allow this to go back, and digestive juices are present. This lid shut down, and the insect is not able to move out. Digestive juices are present here, and they digest the insect. Okay, so this is pitcher. Next is sundew. Next is sundew plant. Third is sundew. Very interesting, very beautiful. The leaves of sundew plants have long, thin structure called tentacles. It is like this. Okay, these tentacles are there, and the mucilage is there. When the sun rays fall, this mucilage, it reflects the light and attract the insects. The leaves of the sundew plants have long, thin structures called tentacles, which have drops of a sticky substance called mucilage. All their ends, once an insect touches the tentacle, it gets stuck in the mucilage and is unable to escape. It is then digested. Next is bladderworts. Next insectivorous plant is bladderwort. Children, the slender leaves of the bladderworts bear a large number of very small pear-shaped bladder structure. Okay, bladder-like structures are there, pear-shaped. Okay, which act like trapdoors and suck in a small insect in less than a second. Okay, here they have small openings, and insect is there, they suck it. Okay, and digest it. This is also insectivorous plant. Now next is symbiotic plant. Next is symbiotic. That is also what? Heterotrophic mode of, they show heterotrophic mode of nutrition, symbiotic plants. The examples are two examples we are going to discuss. First is lichen. In lichen, what happened? Symbiosis means when two organisms, certain plants live in association with each other, share food and other resources. Both the type mutually gain from each other, and this relationship is called symbiotic relationship, and such plants are called symbiotic plants. Okay, first example is lichen. In lichen, what happened? Lichens are an association between a fungus and a microscopic chlorophyll containing organism. And what is that? Green algae. So what is the association of what? Fungus and algae. What is the function of fungus? It gives shelter. Okay. Fungus help the algae to grow in harsh condition and places where they would otherwise not survive. In return, what is the work of algae? The algae provide nutrients to the fungus. Okay, it gives shelter and it gives nutrition. So they are helping each other, and this such kind of association is called symbiotic relationship, and such plants are called symbiotic plants. Now next is rhizobium and rhizobium. Rhizobium is bacteria. Rhizobium is bacteria. It grows in leguminous. It stays in leguminous plants. Where it stays? In leguminous. Children, leguminous plant, the roots are there. This is plant. The roots are there. The roots have nodules. Nodules means knot-like structure. In these knots, this rhizobium bacteria lives. This is what? Bacteria. This bacteria live in root nodules of leguminous plants. Okay. What it does? It converts atmospheric nitrogen into usable nitrogen, so that plant can use that nitrogen, like oxides of nitrogen. And in return, what plant does? Plant gives shelter to rhizobium. So they are helping each other, and they come in symbiotic plants. This way soil also replenishes. Okay, replenish of soil. Plants use the mineral nutrients, especially nitrogen, present in the soil. Okay, what is replenishment of nutrients in soil? Plants use the mineral nutrients, especially nitrogen, present in the soil for their growth. As a result, there is a depletion of nitrogen in the soil over a period of time. Manures and fertilizers are used to replenish nutrients in the soil. Besides nitrogen, they also contain potassium and phosphorus needed by plants for healthy growth. So we use this. But the symbiotic association of rhizobium and leguminous plant, okay, replenish the soil with nitrogen. So sometimes farmers grow leguminous plants alternately with other crops to restore the nitrogen content of the soil. So that is it, children. This was the quick recap of the lesson, and I will give you question and answer of this lesson you do in your notebook.